My name is Driss. I am in TeamViewer since about 2 years now, taking care of especially cloud business since 1 year. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about the company, what we do, what type of licenses, and the actions that we have today. So today for the presentation is going to be only me and my dog next to me.
Could you maybe shut off the right? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, here.
Thank you.
So it's going to be called Leadership and Innovation in Remote Connectivity because you're going to see a different aspect that you know probably about TeamViewer. So the agenda of today is TeamViewer, who we are, the products and we have, the licensing types, the features, benefits, customer use case, some success stories, integration, and of course, if you have any questions, I am here. So TeamViewer. So we are today the global leader in remote connectivity, of course. It's pretty known since about 15 years now. I have been using it when I was young for video games too, so I already knew this company. At the moment, we are above 2 billion installed devices, 340 million active devices on a yearly, 600,000 customers who actually have a license and pay for it. We service pretty much all the countries. We have 45 million devices online at all time, and we are around 800 employees globally. The headquarters are here in Germany in Göppingen. And we speak, of course, around 30 languages overall in the company. So we're something that we called platform agnostic, which means that if you have Windows or Mac, doesn't really matter, you can connect it between each other. The use cases. So you all know TeamViewer for the remote support and remote access to help grandpa, grandma, parents, or whatever. But actually today we tend to innovate a bit more into mobile connectivity, remote work, shared workspace, management and monitoring, enterprise solutions, Internet of Things, and augmented reality. So the core business, which is still a big part of TeamViewer's business, we added some add-ons to enter, so in mobile connectivity, remote work, shared workspace, management and monitoring, and then we innovated in some other fields. The idea of all this is to be able to connect, pretty much everything. So core licensing. So what is, first of all, the licenses that we have? We have three main licenses: the business, the premium, and the corporate, which I will talk about a little bit later. The idea of all this is cross-platform access. As I said, it's very flexible based on your business. If you're a small company, a one person, or a big company or a corporation, there's a solution. It's very feature-rich product, which means that we don't englobe only connectivity, but you can do pretty much a lot of it with it, which is less known. We have among the highest security standards due to the law and the regulation in Germany, of course. It's world-class performance thanks to an algorithm that helps to see how is your connection and what's the image that it can show you. And of course, integrated collaboration solution. So the idea of this product, it's not only connectivity, but it's also monitoring, control, support, collaboration. So it's a circle. So how to convince the customer to choose TeamViewer instead of a competitive solution? Well, that's a very good question. The usability, first of all, it is extremely simple. We made it as much as simple as possible to use. The performance is really, really high. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, I was working for some time for the South African market. So when I was there, and there was a customer who was a big chain of supermarkets, and they had supermarkets in Zimbabwe, which the infrastructure was a bit lacking. But they needed to monitor all the POS devices in their supermarket without any fails. So up to today, I never heard that there was any issue. We have also mass deployment and centralized policy that you could put in place. It's all-in-one file transfer, desktop sharing, online meeting. So that means that with one solution, they can do pretty much all this instead of having tons of apps. and a custom models with customer branding, which means that if you want to create a platform, which is super easy to do, you can put your branding and colors so it doesn't look like it's TeamViewer, but it's your system. So the licenses. Well, it's pretty simple at the end of the day. We have three main licenses. So the business, the premium, and the corporate. Let's start with the business. It's to have 1 to 3 workstations, which means that you can have 3 devices licensed, and 1 person can do the outbound connection. So 1 channel. Now I'm going to enter into something that is called a bit more with channels. So channel, if you want to make it easy, think about it as you have 4 telephones in your house, but 1 telephone line. So when the telephone rings and somebody pick up the phone and the 3 others want to call outside, for example, they have to wait that the line has been cutted. This is pretty much the same system. So in a premium license, you can have 50 account-based users, which means that you can have 50 people with the license. And it has 1 channel. So that means if you have 20 people and 1 channel only, well, might be enough depending on the use case, of course, or if they need more, they can add channels. And you can manage all the connections. So it allows you to connect for reporting and billings, of course. Then we have the corporate license, which is for a big team. Then you have unlimited workstation activations, 200 accounts-based users, so that means 200 people. Large companies, yeah. 3 channels is integrated into the corporate license, but you can add 9 more, or more if necessary. You can manage all the connections, so that means you have a reporting and billing, and mass deployment with MSI or Android host. So just you can very quickly know when you have these questions is business, 1 person, premium, small team, corporate, big team. But I'm going to show you some use cases and what are the 4 questions that you just need to remember in this case. So a customer calls you and he's telling you, I'm connecting to my customers to support them. Which license do I need? So you have 4 questions to ask. How many customers are you connecting to? How many technicians do you have on your side that will connect? How many of these connect at the same time? Do the customer have strictly computer devices, or is it also a mobile devices? So the answer of the customer is it can be around 100 to 200. On his side, it's just him and make 1 simultaneous connection. And it can also be mobile devices. So in this case, it would be a business plus 1 mobile device add-on. Another customer calls you and he's telling you he's the IT administrator in the company and he needs a TeamViewer license to support all the employees in the company that is spread around departments and locations. So first of all, the question of him is, does TeamViewer allow connections to different countries? So the answer is yes. Which license do he need for this case? So again, there's 4 questions. How many people is he connecting to? How many admins do you have on your side that will connect? How many of these connect at the same time? Do the employees have strictly computer devices, or is it also mobile devices? So he's responding that there's connecting to 300 people, more or less. He has 5 administrators on the inside. And the employees only have computers. So in this case, it's a corporate. And if he needs 5 people to connect at all time if needed, then he will add 2 add-on channels. Just also a little details, you can connect to an amount of device, it's unlimited. There's a difference between managing these devices that you will have on the management console that has some limits, and the connection to the amount of device. So if you want to connect 2,000 times a day with 2,000 devices differently, fine. So customer use case, how to sell TeamViewer. So I'm specialized a lot into the Israeli market in particular, the northern market, so Northern Europe, and I touch a bit of every continent, I would say. And the use cases are different from places to places. I saw, for example, in the northern countries like Norway, Sweden, Finland, who have a lot of access in sea levels, fish farms. So they were using TeamViewer basically to monitor and feed the fishes. So the fishes were, I don't know how many kilometers out of the coast, and instead of sending a boat, everything was robotized, and the person in his home, he just could launch whatever he needed to do. Irrigation, smart farm, triloscope, microscope. So for me, triscopes, I'm using it. I studied astrophysics, so I am also working into research a little bit. So the telescopes, for example, that I am using, the one in Hawaii, we're using also TeamViewer to be able to have the image. That's a little parenthesis. Smart glasses, point of sales. So there's a big chain of soap shop that everybody knows probably. They are using TeamViewer to monitor all the cache and give support if needed. Engine tuning, smart TVs. Philips is using pre-built TeamViewer into their TVs, so when they need to access their smart TV, when they need to access when there's a problem from a customer, they can do it directly. And fitness machines. So, to go a bit deeper in this, the internal support of employees. So this is basically some use cases that how it's working with a solution and how it's working without a solution. So without TeamViewer, you get a call from employee, and the employee has to do a long explanation of what is going wrong, and the IT person has to walk to or drive the employee to fix the problem. So we all know how very long this is, because sometimes people are not very friendly with computers. It's not super efficient because it takes a lot of time. It's not super safe neither, because the employee is on a business trip and laptop disabled, Wi-Fi adapter, etc., etc. And of course, there's a loss of revenue if it's your main business giving support. With a solution like TeamViewer, you can get calls from employee notification, connection via TeamViewer established, and it's done. So pretty much he can do everything like that. Of course, if he has an internet connection. Without TeamViewer, same call from customers, long explanation of what is wrong. IT person has to drive the customer to fix the problem and try to explain to the customer how to do it himself on the phone. Or the customer has to come to the IT. So it takes, again, very long time. It's not super safe. There's loss of revenue. With TeamViewer, again, he just have to call, connection via TeamViewer, and then the person can do it for him. But what is interesting is that it's not only to give support, it can also be to monitor machines. So you have a machinery that have a failure. First of all, you have to realize that you have a failure, and the expert has to drive to the machine location to fix the problem. So I'm talking about servers, for example. So it takes super long, it's not very efficient, and it's a revenue loss, especially if you are working with domains, because that means people won't have access to it. What you can do with TeamViewer, it's kind of have an alarm, and as soon as something is going wrong, you will see it, and then you can remotely fix the problem if it's strictly informatic, or at least if there is a problem like, I don't know, some damage, like physical damage, well, you will know straight away. So with this, we can propose a product that is named Pilot, which is virtual reality. If you have played a game like Pokemon Go or whatever, it's pretty much the same concept. So you have remote camera sharing, you can freeze the image, highlight on 3D objects, and add text annotations, and VoIP HD audio. So basically, it's a FaceTime where you can draw, and it stays where you are. So I'm with my phone, for example, here, and you just turn, and the highlight will stay, whatever. And the phone is using like the eyes, and the technician is going to be on his laptop on the other side of the world. I'm going to tell you a little story of an airline who had an issue in China when they landed. The motor had an issue, and they actually tried out the solution. So the engineer was here in Germany. He couldn't fly to China. So what happened is that the mechanician based in China, they were using their phone, so they could show the motor where was the problem, and the engineer on place could put annotation and tell them how to fix. So instead of canceling a flight or have a delay of 12, 13, 15, 16 hours, they could have a solution on the spot, and the flight was delayed only 5 hours, which is still a lot, but better than not going home. So the use cases The most that I heard of was repair and maintenance training. I have a school in Canada who is using this to do mechanical training, inspections, for example, in petrol stations in Norway. I had this use case too. Logistic and warehousing, of course. So the industry vertical for this product would be a lot manufacturing, automotive, energy. I think manufacturing in your region, it's quite a big thing. Telcos, of course, constructions, offshore and oil, gas, and logistic and warehousing. So mostly industrial. And then we have something called TeamViewer remote management. So let's see it that way. TeamViewer Core, it's the Tesla without any options. And the TeamViewer remote management, it's the light. So it's always better to have the light in front of your car when you're driving at night. And this is exactly what is remote management, because it allows you to monitor and asset manage your infrastructure. So the monitoring part, it's basically monitor your device and your network to see what's going on. A remote task manager and automatic device detection. So that means you know who is connecting into your own infrastructure and kick them out if it's not supposed to be there. On the asset management part, you can keep track of hard and software. So that means you will have a complete overview of what software do you have, what hardware do you have, and the health of it. So it allows you to anticipate any issues that is going to come. You have also endpoint protection, so it's basically an antivirus and ransomware and Trojans. It's VB100 certified and the automatic updates. So the motor is Bitdefender. And then we have backup, and backup, it's all in the name. It's to back up your devices. All this prevents undesired downtimes. If you're working into business which is support, you increase your KPIs. The antivirus is quite good. Service various or department individually. So basically it allows you to have, instead of, I don't know how many technicians on place, you can monitor everything from your desk. Integrations. So integration, what is it? What does it allow to make? So it's pretty simple. TeamViewer, we're, for example, integrated with Microsoft Intune. If you have a license of Intune, you can buy a premium, a corporate, or a Tensor license and integrate it into your Intune. So that means all the session that you're going to launch, you're going to do it via your Intune. So up to today, TeamViewer is the only one to do this. We're integrated also in Ninja, Salesforce, Jira, ApeTech, AWS, ServiceNow, IBM, Freshworks, Mobile Iron, and Cherwell. So this is the biggest name, but we have a lot more, and it's keeping coming every month.